Hi everybody, thanks for joining me back again here today. Just wanted to show you a couple of pieces that I've been working on for my sound quality car audio project. So this will be part 8 now. I ended up getting my subwoofer box. What's been an incredibly arduous task, it seems. Nobody likes to put packing material in the boxes for these, so they always come smashed. I finally got one that wasn't smashed though, so good for me. There still wasn't any packing material in the box. It just didn't happen to get smashed on its way to me. So I got a box I'm going to use. It's actually not the box that I originally wanted, but this one didn't show up smashed. So I'm going to actually modify it a little bit. The cost of a custom box was going to be substantial. You know, we're talking $300 or more. That wasn't really in the budget for the project here. So what I did was, what I was planning on doing then was just buying a good box that fit the volume requirements of my audio subwoofers. And modify it if I had to strengthen the box up any and go from there. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. These subwoofers, the audio SEX series dual 4 ohm, actually dual 2 ohm drivers, they require 0.65 cubic feet of empty space. That's after displacement. So I needed a box. These displace about 0.14 cubic feet. So I would need a box that's about 0.79 to get optimum performance out of them. I guess you can go a little bit bigger, you'll get a little bit deeper response, a little bit smaller, and you'll get tighter bass, better kick. So the last box I got, well, I got 3 of them. 3 or 4 of them actually. The Atrend SQL box, dual 10 SQL, just made for sound quality. It had nice thick walls, 1-inch thick front, pretty good terminations. That was a nice box, and that was exactly 0.79 cubic feet. Exactly what I needed. That would have left me with 0.65. It would have been perfect. But they all showed up smashed, so you know, that was it. I was done ordering that box. I ended up getting this one. Actually, this one's a bit less expensive. This is the Atrend B box, dual 10. It's 1 cubic foot per driver. So after displacement, I'm going to be getting about 0.86 per driver, which is more than necessary. So there's 2 things I'm going to do about that. I'm actually, the front is still 1-inch thick. It does say made in China on it. I think the other one's made in the US. So it's China MDF. I'm a little wary about that. I know Chinese MDF isn't as dense as the American stuff, American hardwood MDF. But I'm going to reinforce it. The front's 1-inch thick. The sides are 5/8. So I'm going to actually cut little strips of MDF, American MDF, cut strips of it, glue it down to the sidewalls to reinforce it so it doesn't resonate as much, and I might make some corner braces for inside the box. So you're going to do a couple things. It's going to help lessen resonance and vibration. It's also going to take up some cubic feet of space that I need to anyway, and because it's already a larger box, I don't think I want to do any polyfill. I already actually bought the polyfill, but I don't think I'm going to use it in there because polyfill generally makes a box seem bigger than it is, actually perform bigger than it is to the subwoofer. So I didn't want to do that, but I do want to break up some of the standing waves inside the box so I get the cleanest, purest bass sound out of my drivers. I think the cross bracing will help do that. It'll break up the smooth, flat surfaces, so it'll be a bit of diffusion without adding space to it. So I think that one will work well. Okay, you can see on this box we've got 1-inch thick front,
The sides look like they're 5/8. I thought I might get lucky and get some 3/4, but 5/8 sides. Bit cheaper spring clips. We'll see how good those work. I might have to makeshift something or just replace those. Does say, of course, there it is, made in China. Hard to find stuff that isn't nowadays, but they didn't even router it out very well. There's a whole flange of MDF just left hanging here. I actually have to router it out anyway. So the subwoofer will fit in it. That is actually a bit larger than the size of the cutout, so I have to router it out and it'll fit in there just fine then. I was able to, or not able to, but I did order another 4 square feet of Stinger roadkill, so now I got another 8 to put on. I'm kind of addicted to this stuff. I'm going to be doing the quarter panels and the package tray with these, so between the two of them I think that'll cover my rear quarters and package tray, and that'll help the base situation for the trunk. This is the wiring I'm going to be wiring my sub box with. This is Ixos Gamma technology. This is 11 gauge. It's a braided wire. It's really high purity copper, so it should work well. I know it's not like 8 gauge or anything, but I'm only going to be sending this 720 watts. It's not going to be 3,000 watts. It's not a base competition vehicle or anything, so I think this stuff will work fine, and I had it laying around, so it's almost like it was free. And just like any time I get into a project, I can't just leave it where it's at. So what once was 4 gauge power wire is now 0 gauge. Actually 1/0. I couldn't sit still, and I figured I'm going to end up wanting to upgrade that at some point down the road. So I picked up a Kicker 1/0 kit. With dual amp kit. You can see how much bigger this is though. I was going to be very close to the 1500 watt limit of 4 gauge OFC copper. This is true spec stuff, so it's supposed to be even a lot higher conductivity and power handling than a lot of 4 gauge kits out there. But I knew at some point, I don't know, I may end up getting a bigger amp at some point and getting into higher wattage, so that's what I picked up. Look at that size difference. It's huge. That is monstrous, and that way, because I don't ever want to have to run the power wire again in the same car. I've already, I'm going to run it once, and that's all I want to have to do. So much bigger that is though. What's weird, I know everybody says this, but this stuff is super flexible. And it bends around real easy. It's real soft and supple for such a large gauge. I think that's because it's got like 4,700 strands in it. It's also going to add a few pounds to the car. So one thing that's cool, the ground wire and the power wire, actually the power wire from the motor, comes covered in Tech Sleeve or Tech Flex already. Sleeving, and then it's terminated to a little terminal there, so that's kind of cool. I'm actually going to cover all the wire with Tech Flex. I may cover it with something else too, but from what they tell me at competition, wiring is one of the things you can actually score the highest, so I want to make sure that the wiring is set as good as it can possibly be. And then once that's done, from then on out, anything I change around, change an amp, change a subwoofer, I don't have to redo any wiring. It's all there and ready to connect up. So a small price to pay, I guess. And it's got to be, this pack has to be 20 pounds. It's heavy. It's some heavy stuff. So over the 4 gauge kit, it's probably going to add, I'd say 12 to 15 pounds. That stuff's beastly, so I'll still be under my 200 pounds, but I'm a little further from 150 pounds.
Alright, well thanks everybody for joining me again. And thanks for watching my videos all throughout the year. I really appreciate it. As always, if you have any suggestions for me, I'm free to listen to them. You know, I like to learn from you guys. I mean, I don't have TV. I haven't watched TV in 4 years. So I do watch a lot of YouTube videos though, and I learn a lot from you guys too. So thanks again. We'll see you next time.